So today we're checking out the Nintendo Wii, the new system from Nintendo for the holiday, and this is it. It's super small. As you can see, it's got a CD slot on the front. This thing, when we say it's small, we're not kidding. Here it is next to a DVD box set. Let's talk about some of the ports and slots on here. On the front we've got a CD drive that does GameCube and Wii discs. It doesn't do DVDs yet, or ever actually, but it could in the future. We don't know. We've got the power button, the reset button. Up here we got a smart card slot. And this little red button here, that's where you actually bind the wireless controllers with it. So down here we have the eject key. So let's take a look at the back. We have two USB ports. This is where you plug in the AV, so like your composite cable or component cable if you get that. And here's the sensor port. So this is where you plug in the sensor bar, which we're going to show you in a minute. This doesn't actually transmit data, it's purely for power. Speaking of which, there is the power thing. As you can see, all these have the kind of the Wii shape, just like on the side here, how it goes sideways, and on the back. The whole unit works with this whole idea of the shape of the Wii being the actual parts. So there's the fan box. There's also a fan slot down there along with our serial number, which you now know. Up here we've got two flaps you can open up, and we have 4 GameCube port controllers and then 2 memory card slots. So this thing can either be used vertically or horizontally, whichever one you want. So let's take a look at what comes with it. So out of the box you have everything you need to get started. First off, we're going to start with the 2 controllers, the Wiimote and the Nunchuck. The Wiimote is basically the motion controller you've all seen before. It's got a couple face buttons, a home button, and an up and down. These are pretty much the start and select buttons, and this gets you back almost like the Xbox guide button, but a little bit less robust. So here's the giant A button, and then there's a control stick. And there's a power button here which lets you turn the system on and off, along with the controller, which you can usually just turn on by pressing the button. These 4 lights down here which are flashing, it's players 1 through 4, and whatever player you are, it'll light up blue. And down here we have the port where you plug in the Nunchuck, which we're going to show you in a second. On the back it's pretty simple. There's just 2 AA batteries, along with a button here that lets you bind it to the system, along with a little trigger up here. It is infrared. So to complement the Wiimote, you have the Nunchuck, which basically just plugs in down here. All this is a 3-button controller, 2 buttons here, then a C stick here, so you can easily access either of these as a trigger. It's pretty ergonomical. You hold it in tandem. It is motion sensing. So if you plan on using your console vertically, you do want to use the included stand. It's pretty simple, just basically a piece of plastic with almost like a blank CD on the bottom. You just slide it in. This serves 2 purposes. It kind of keeps it steadier than it would be on its own, along with not blocking this fan down here because there's a little vent in that bottom. If you're using it horizontally, you don't need to worry about the stand, since both fans have room to breathe. 2 things that also come with the system are pretty important: the composite cable and Wii sensor bar. We like the composite cable not because of the quality really, but the fact that you can tear these apart and kind of separate them if you have separate components, like a audio system separate from your TV. So you don't need to buy an extra cord or something from Radio Shack or Fry's or wherever you shop for that. So this is a sensor bar. It's basically 2 sets of LED lights. You can't really see them because they're infrared LEDs, but they're on each side, and they kind of let the Wiimote know where it is. And so here's the plug. It's very tiny, and this cord tends to get tangled, so it's kind of hard to keep it clean. But as you can see, it's also kind of the shape of the system. But this doesn't actually transmit data, as we said earlier. It's just for power. The other must-have accessory that comes with it is the power brick. We like this because it's small and it doesn't have fans like the Xbox 360, so you can put it in your AV unit and not worry about it overheating. As you can see, it's pretty small compared to the unit, and the cord's about 10 feet, so it's pretty long. Some of the best features about the Wii is it's backwards compatible with the Nintendo GameCube. So if you never bought a GameCube or have some GameCube discs lying around that you want to play, it's totally backwards compatible. So just as a size comparison, here is the GameCube and here is the Wii. The cool thing is that it works with both the old controllers, so if we just open up this top flap, you can just plug in right there. So that's the Wavebird, which still works. And likewise, you can just plug in old controllers and it still works. So let's talk about discs for a second. The cool thing is that even though this is a slot drive, you can still put in old discs. It'll take them just fine. It doesn't work with some GameCube hardware like the Nintendo Game Boy player, because obviously there's no serial data port on the bottom of the Wii. But you probably don't need this anyways. So a really cool feature of the Wii is that it has built-in 802.11b and G Wi-Fi. So it can hook up to your local network, whether it's yours or your neighbors, whether they know it or not. And you can use a system called Wii Connect 24, which basically is a standby for your system. It doesn't really use much power, and the system's not on, the fan's not on. And when you get a message in Wii Connect 24, either if it's downloading data or your friend sends you a message or someone emails you something, the slot glows blue. There's 3 settings. You can have bright, dim, or off. And it's just really neat. It's this pulsating blue light. So we really dig this. The Wii is about $250 this holiday. If you can pick one up, good luck. It's a hot item. There's a ton of games for it, and we really like it. It's a great system. So take care, and until next time, good gaming.